Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to another Update-A-Sode, as I'm sure you noticed in the title. So I took a snow day off yesterday here in the Twin Cities metro. We had a big snowstorm yesterday. Fortunately, Matthew and one of his siblings, who still relies on us for transportation for various reasons, they fortunately did not have to work today, but neither did anyone at their in their jobs. Yes, the snow day was serious enough that okay, so for those of you who don't live in a climate that gets snow, you can hear different snow totals, and it doesn't really like affect you all that much. You don't really have like space for it in your head or in your life. So I'm going to try to explain what we went through. Now, a lot of the towns outside of the Minneapolis city area, we'll call them the suburbs, towns and cities like Navarre, Plymouth, St. Louis Park, a lot of them, it's really normal for them to have parking restrictions in the winter, or if snow is over 2 inches. They do that so that they can run a plow and not damage anybody's car, in theory. Now, when you get 2 inches of snow, that can be considered like a parking and a driving hazard, because the snow can turn to ice really quickly if the sun hits it, or it gets just warm enough that it starts to melt, but then it refreezes, due to wind or just the temperature of the street. Even like it's pretty wild how the condition of snow can go from powder to very hard ice in a really quick amount of time. But yeah, so that's 2 inches, right? We got hit with 12 overnight. It was different across the metro. Now we knew it was coming. Everybody had plenty of warning. It wasn't like it just happened out of the blue, but yeah, depending on where you were in the Twin Cities, you got anywhere from 8 to 12 inches. Now, fortunately, it stopped right around 6:30 or so. It was projected to go up until 4 a.m. Again, that would have been a lot more snow. That would have been a much bigger problem, but it went to 6:30-ish, and when I was sure that there wasn't any more coming down, I got geared up and I went outside and I did what I was planning to do all day if I caught it when it stopped, which was get out there and immediately shovel my wife's car out of the snow and shovel mine out of the snow. And I did that, and it took a few hours. But I really didn't want to be wiped out mentally in any kind of way before I got into that, because that is work that you have to, when you have a shovel and it's just yourself, you really have to, you got to talk yourself through it sometimes. Because, it's cold, and, I was prepared for that, but, I had to, talk myself through what was going on. And I knew that was going to be my fate, so I just sat there all day, and I played Stardew Valley, and, ate some soup and stuff. I kept myself geared up mentally for it, and, yeah, then I went out and busted ass, and so I didn't get any work done yesterday on the podcast. Work kind of hit a standstill for a hot minute, because aside from just everything else going on, I've had to work a lot, and unfortunately during the winter I can't really easily plug in my car and just work from the car or anything. It's if I'm out in it, if I'm hiking or if I'm driving or something, it's fine. But sitting in a vehicle, even with my setup as good as I've got it, sitting in a vehicle and doing the work is just, it sucks, that part of it sucks. I don't want to do that. And unfortunately, the places where I would do it are a bit of a walk from my car to a charger. I like to have my car plugged in. Even in the scenarios where I don't really feel like I have to do that, I'm usually working. And I'm trying to stay in work zones for my job. I work for Shipt, and I shop at grocery stores for folks, and deliver their items. So there's a lot of, I always have my stuff with me. I never leave the house without it. In the event that I get an hour or two of downtime, I can turn it into production time. So, I am always thinking about it at the very least. But I don't always get the chance to do it. And like I've said before, when I get home if I get home at 9:30, 10 p.m., the last thing I want to do is sit down and research Candace Owens' bullshit. But, what that does is that becomes a problem that feeds itself. Then the next day I'm not up for it, and the next day I'm not up for it. And then even if I get home with a decent amount of time, it's hard to kick into gear, because for one thing, I've been working almost every day for the last 3 months. That takes a toll too. Even when I have my job, right now I'm driving, and I'm driving to go pick up Matthew and his sibling from their jobs. But even when I have, this kind of a downtime from it, typically I'm being dangerous and, sorting out work offers on my phone as I'm going. And it's not ideal. Trust me, it's not ideal. I don't enjoy that aspect of it. But, I've decided that I'm done for the day. I'm going to pick them up and go home and work on the show. But that's the other thing, is that I'm always working. I'm having to always work right now. February sucks because, having that 2 or 3 days less than every other month is fucking bullshit. And I'll never get over it. But, yeah, it's the worst, because it's that much less money that I've got at the end of the month to, pay off bills, pay shit off. I fucking hate it. And I usually wind up having to work for February up until fucking April 15th, ironically tax day. So yeah, taking yesterday off gave me a mental break that I needed from everything, but also kind of puts the gun to my head of, okay, well, there's a day lost. It sucks. It sucks. So I do what I can. But today, having had a bit of that mental break and having had a really good day today, when I get home, once I get them home anyway, I'm going to sit down and get back into production on the podcast, and I will work on it no less than 30 minutes to an hour every day, until we've got the next episode scripted out, and good to go. And I will stay on top of it from here on. I just couldn't do it for a while. I wanted to kick out another episode near the end of February. The next one, actually, Shot in the Dark. I think we're on 17 now. Yeah, I wanted to have that out. I just couldn't. Between work stress and just everything else going on in the fucking world, I couldn't bring myself around to it. And that's one of the many reasons why I do not want to run a Patreon for this program, because I would rightfully feel guilty, taking anyone's money. As little as $1 a month, I would feel guilty about doing that and, not providing anything. I mean, I am fully aware that people will sign up for, say, a gym membership at, Planet Fitness or something, and spend $15-$20 a month or whatever, go a few times and never go again, and just have that shit come out of their account. I don't want to be the reason you have to get a Rocket Money account to figure out, oh shit, I'm still paying these dipshits in Minneapolis. That's not. I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel that way. Yeah, I'm not a good capitalist. You know, I'm not a good capitalist because I'm not a fucking capitalist. I am at the closest I would get to that is like a socialist, right? Now, somebody who will go unnamed, but they know who they are. Thank you. Sent me about a minute long clip of a recent speed bumps in this neighborhood. They sent me a recent minute long clip about of Knowledge Fight discussing Candace Owens. I have attempted to reach out to those guys before. I really hope they don't make her a regular thing. Like, don't step in my backyard, please. But, you know, I can't stop them. You know, but I keep up on her shit, unfortunately. And they weren't kidding. Candace is trying to run an apology campaign for Harvey Weinstein, the disgraced ex-Hollywood producer. But that's not a shock. Like, two of her family friends are Andrew and Tristan Tate, for fuck's sakes, you know, as regular listeners of this show will probably remember. But yeah, I really want... Right, that was a text message. Anyway, I really want Candace Owens to be my deal. But again, I can't stop them. I would love to talk with them about it, you know. I can't fucking stop them, I guess. Now, if somebody wants to reach out to them for me, tell them to contact me, my fucking contact information is readily available. I do follow them on Blue Sky, as well as I know a couple of people that are in the Facebook group, but I'm not going to lean on them for that. I doubt the guys from Knowledge Fight even check the fucking Facebook group, as far as I understand it. But yeah, so anyway, that is far afield from what I was discussing here. Yeah, you know, like I said, I don't want to run anything that I don't just want to crap out an episode. As loose as our things seem to be, and trust me, I go through a lot of work to present the right information, and I always like have this little thing in the back of my head that, you know, did I get that right? Did I do the best I could? And, you know, every time that we produce a show, I feel good about it. That little nagging thing is always going to be back there in my head, but I know from the amount of work that I spend, you know, the amount of time that I spend rather working on it, that I really am doing the best job here that I can do. God, going downhill, snowy conditions. Whew. I am so glad I have new tires right now. Holy shit. Anyway. Yeah, so I am going to cut this off. Thank you all for listening, and we will be back around soon, hopefully in the next week or so, with our next episode. But that's it, everybody. Thank you for staying tuned, I guess. All right. Have a great whatever day of the week or time of the week it is for you. Bye.